Hey everyone, Greg here for another AHS character deep dive for you. This week we're looking at all the characters portrayed by the great John Carroll Lynch.
I guess it's my lucky day. What are the odds of me meeting you out here?
Pretty good. Since you followed me here.
Now we also want to hear from you, so hit us up in the comments and let us know who you would love for us to break down next. Let's start with Lynch's portrayal of the fan favorite psychotic clown, Twisty.
Troy? No!
The clown would make his AHS debut on October 8th, 2014 in the premiere episode for Freak Show. Now it's noted that the actor's call sheet listed the character as Twisted Clown. The name Twisty was never actually used on the show until he pops up years later on Colt. I think it's pretty safe to say that Twisty is one of the most frightening characters that the show has ever developed. He looks like the satanic love child of Leatherface and Pennywise. He also shares a strong resemblance to Flick the Clown from the 1920s silent film Laugh, Clown, Laugh. We got his origin story in the episode Edward Mordrake Part 2, where Twisty would explain to Mordrake how he got his scars.
Well, hello, beautiful.
Twisty's story begins in 1943, when he worked as a children's clown for Rusty Westchester's traveling carnival. He was very kind, but a bit slow due to being literally dropped on his head as a baby. Twisty started out pretty popular at the carnival, which would lead to jealousy with other carnies, including two awful dwarfs that would spread a horrible lie that he was molesting children. Word spread from the carnies' lie, and Twisty would be out of work as a clown for good, yet he would continue to wear his costume and makeup. Twisty would try to sell toys made from garbage scrap, but to no avail as Hanley's toys wanted nothing to do with him. Now at rock bottom, Twisty attempted suicide by shotgun, but somehow he survived, although he was left horribly disfigured. To cover it up, he began wearing a frightening makeshift grinning prosthetic mask, and over time, Twisty began to grow delusions that he needed to keep the children safe from their parents. Before he could start his mission of saving children, he would look for a babysitter for the kids he intended to collect. Enter Bonnie Lipton. He would find poor Bonnie at a lakeside picnic with her boyfriend. He killed the boyfriend immediately and would bring Bonnie back with him to an abandoned bus where she would soon be joined by Corey Bachman after the clown murdered the boy's parents. He would attempt to entertain the two captives with balloon animals, but that went as well as one would think. Next, Twisty would go back to good old Hanley's toy shop and kill Hanley and another employee. And on his way back to his bus, he was stopped by Gloria Mott, who wanted his services for a private children's party for her son, Dandy.
You can do whatever you want with him. I'll leave you two alone.
Dandy's first encounter with the crazed clown surprisingly didn't end with bloodshed, but with a swing of Twisty's juggling pin. They would meet again after Bonnie and Corey attempted to escape Twisty's grasp, only to be brought back to the bus by the clown with the helping hand of Dandy. Fast forward to Halloween, when Twisty would abduct Mike and bring him back to the woods with Dandy there to meet him decked out in full-blown clown attire. Bonnie would try to escape for a third time, but Twisty would catch her near the road. Lucky for her, they were spotted by Jimmy and Maggie, who followed Twisty back to the bus where they were subdued from behind by Dandy. One thing led to another, and Jimmy, with the help of Maggie, freed Bonnie, Mike, and Corey, and their long nightmare was finally over. After telling Edward Mordrake his life story, Twisty would be invited to join Edward's menagerie of freakish spooks. The admission fee? Death.
You are lost.
Twisty will return to frighten audiences and me once again for the 7th season, Colt. It looks like the details of his Florida murders during the 1950s were so well known that they were turned into literature. Well, comic books to be exact. In Colt's present-day Michigan, Allie and Ivy's son Ozzy is a big fan of the killer clown. But if he knew that the comics were based on the real-life murders less than 70 years ago, I'm not so sure he'd be such an avid reader. Why his parents let him read these comics is beyond me. According to Ryan Murphy, Twisty is, quote, one of the 4 mythological monsters along with Bloodyface, Rubberman, and Piggyman, and they are all horrifying. Which brings us to our next character played by John Carroll Lynch, John Wayne Gacy. Fittingly, Twisty is inspired by the real-life serial killer and Lynch portrayed both of them. Gacy makes 2 appearances during Hotel, and we learn that he visited Hotel Cortez when he was young, met with James Marsh, and he was sent along on his killing spree. Since his execution in 1994, he's returned to the hotel dinner table on Devil's Night with the rest of that horrific guest list. In real life, Gacy dressed up as a killer clown named Pogo for children's birthday parties. It's said he sexually assaulted and murdered at least 33 teenage boys and young men between 1972 and 1978 in Chicago. He was finally convicted in 1980 and sentenced to death. Finally, let's spend a moment going over Lynch's newest character, Benjamin Richter, aka Mr. Jingles. From what we've been told, Richter is a dishonorably discharged Vietnam veteran who, in 1970, was convicted for the brutal murders at Camp Redwood due to the testimony of one of the victims, Margaret Booth. Richter's MO is collecting the severed ears from his victims as souvenirs, and he earned the moniker of Mr. Jingles because of the jingling keychain on his belt. We'll leave you with this. There's a strong possibility that there's way more to the Jingles character than a typical slasher villain. Back in 2017, Lynch spoke to Bild about why he had reservations about playing Twisty the Clown before Ryan Murphy assured him that Twisty is not one-dimensional.
I don't just want to play somebody who's stabbing somebody. I'm not interested in playing a Jason.
So, which one is my favorite? Well, you know I hate clowns. So, which performance do you like the most, and what do you think is really going on with Mr. Jingles? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.